What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Teej pack. Teej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Teej Hanley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Teej Hanley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Teej Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Teej Hanley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a Dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Teej pack. Feel the Teej, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tapping in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What up, friends and family? Let me check the temperature in the chat. See what the people saying. What up, Anwar? Mark Pyers, tax coach in the building, global chef. Jawan Hart, Spaces, what up? Enos Luby, Kojak. What is this? GT is Cap. What's Cap? What's Cap? That ain't happening. The world is shooting craps in a piss-soaked alley. What up? What up? What up? Let me see. What's Cap? What is being said about Anton from Anton Daniels today? I can't see nothing. Did I miss something? Believe none of what you hear. What is being said? You know, this is an interactive show before we get started with the show. Somebody give me some insight on what's being said. I can't see it. People, hold on. Okay, hold on. People, okay, here we go. People out here making videos about you. Who making videos about me? People out here making videos about you divorcing your wife. When? Oh, they said I'm getting a divorce? When did that happen? Oh, they want me to lose so bad. I guess, was that before or after I bust down my chick twice yesterday? Was that before or after the live stream last night? Was that before or after? Who is this sprinkle lady that we need to address?
Hello.
Hey, baby, I'm on a live stream.
Hey, what's up?
What you doing?
I'm walking around the mall with my friend.
You walking around the mall doing what?
Helping her pick out an outfit or something.
No, I think you shopping.
Maybe not.
I think you shopping. Hey,
Maybe.
they
Yeah.
letting me know in the chat. Apparently, we getting a divorce.
We are?
Yeah.
Really? When?
I don't know. Apparently, they know something that we don't know. Was that before or after we had sex yesterday?
It must have been before, maybe. Who said that?
I don't know. You was just in this. They don't know that you was in the studio just yesterday while I was doing a live stream.
Um, Interesting.
I don't know.
So
Okay.
thanks for letting us know.
Yeah. Apparently, they the oracles of the Matrix. So, all right.
All right.
All right. Have a good one. Apparently, y'all know something that I'm not aware of. Where did y'all get that from? Who told y'all that? Is this how rumors work? We play games of telephone? Where did y'all get that from? And who is making these supposed videos with false rumors so that we can make sure that we sue them accordingly? Who? Somebody in the chat, tell me right now who are making these videos so that we can sue them for defamation and false information. Somebody give me some insight. Who said it and when and what, where, and where, why, and how? I need to know. I need to know. I want to know. So that's a part of our housekeeping today. Who is out here spreading false rumors in order to make y'all want me? Hold on. Do y'all want me to lose my relationship that bad? Is it that bad? Who? Tell me. I need a name. I need a name. I need a name so I can find out where these court documents was filed at. Where they filed at. Say it. Say it immediately. All right. Well, then if ain't nobody saying it, and how come everybody get quiet when we start addressing it directly? See, I'm not one of these comedians. I'm not one of these comedians. I address it head on and directly. I don't play games. I don't play no games. Oh, some dude in their mom's basement. Oh, well, that don't matter. Anyways, y'all ready to get Eric Adams? y'all ready? Y'all ready to get started with the show? Huh? Y'all ready to get started with the show? All right, let's get to it. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Don't get quiet now. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Also on top of that, T Chanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. We love T Chanley. We appreciate T Chanley. Thank you for continuing to sponsor the live stream. Also, shout out to the people that's wishing for my downfall. There's Brandon Johnson. I'm gonna have to see what Brandon Johnson is over there talking about. And after hours tonight. After hours tonight. So we're gonna be tapping in with after hours. It's gonna be a great look. Let me say this also before we get into the show. Y'all gotta stop watching. Listen, I know I'm entertaining. I know I'm an awesome person. I know that this comes with the game. But y'all gotta stop watching people that think that they know things about me. They're just tagging along in order to get some visibility because they are bad content creators and they have nothing to be able to add value into as far as society. So the minute that y'all stop entertaining it is the minute that they can move on to something else. But the fact that y'all even entertain it and then you bring it to me, listen, if I don't say it, if I don't tell it to you, then there's nothing to it. I am the most transparent person on the face of the earth. And if I ever tell you or I give you some insight into what's going on, then you will know it to be true, but not a minute before or a minute after. And that goes for every single thing in my life. I live my life like an open book. You will continue to see the evolution of me as long as I'm on the internet. And it just is what it is. So if you don't see a channel that says don't do coke in the bathroom, Anton Daniels, the Millionaire Morning Show with Anton Daniels, or After Hours with Anton Daniels, then it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. So, that's up to y'all if y'all want to keep entertaining it, but we're not going to entertain it over here. Sometimes I address it. Sometimes I just ignore it, and then maybe I'll address it later. But if you did not hear it come out of my mouth, then it's not true. All right. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon link. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. After Hours is tonight. I don't know what we're going to do on After Hours. I'm kind of trying to figure that out or whatever, but After Hours is tonight and tomorrow night, and then we keep it popping from there. Shout out to Jessica Octavia. Shout out to everybody that hold me down and support the platform. Also, let me give a shout out to my dog, Mike, that dude. I appreciate you for holding me down on Cash App. Also, on top of that, let me make sure. Okay. T-Mac yesterday, I appreciate you. Thank you, T-Mac. Brittany, I remember you from yesterday. Also, Brittany B, shout out to you. I'm going to give you a shout out again today. Let me acknowledge a couple of super chats, and then we got a really good show today. Pretty Boy 79 says, you're appreciated. Keep doing your thing. Thank you, Pretty Boy. I appreciate you. Lilith and Aries says, glad to see you back to your old self. We love you. I love you too. I love you too. Thank you, my friend. And Brittany B says, Anton, I just love it when other people know more about you than you. Me too. Me too. I'd be like, oh yeah, interesting. So I'll make up stuff about me too. I don't know what's going on out here in these streets, but I guess that's a good thing. And it's not a bad thing. Y'all got to stop taking things as people say, or even if they speculate or rumors, as a bad thing. That means that you're incredibly successful. That just means that you're successful. When people talk about you, or they trying to figure out what's going on with you, or they speculate, that's not a bad thing. Keeps your name in the algorithm. You know what I'm saying? It keeps it relevant. If they wasn't checking for you, then that's when you should be worried. The minute that nobody is checking for you and they're not trying to figure out what's going on, even if it's a rumor, then that's really a bigger problem. So I'd be more concerned with that than the opposite, right? But you can't blame people for doing what they're doing. That's just a part of the game, and that's what we signed up for, all right? Shout out to Addie, New Life. I appreciate you. All right, let's get started with the show, y'all. Again, I'm going to be reading super chats throughout the show. I appreciate you guys for continuing to hold me down. After Hours is tonight. If you didn't watch the live stream from yesterday, you might want to check that out, and then we're going to get it popping. Let's go. Quick Hits, baby. Quick Hits is a segment of the show that we don't necessarily think deserves a full segment dedicated to every single thing that we talk about in Quick Hits, but we definitely want to keep you guys up to speed on what's happening out here in these streets, man. All right. First and foremost, Aaron Rodgers is out on Pat McAfee's show. Take a look.
Aaron Rodgers is out at the Pat McAfee show. The ESPN host announced that the New York Jets quarterback will no longer be appearing on his show. Aaron Rodgers' Tuesday's Season 4 is done. There will be a lot of people that will be happy with that, myself included, to be honest. With the way it ended, it got real loud. McAfee added, "We are very lucky to get a chance to chat with him and learn from him. Some of his thoughts and opinions, though, do piss off a lot of people, and I'm pumped that that is no longer going to be every single Wednesday of my life, which it has been for the last few weeks." Rodgers had appeared on McAfee's show every Tuesday as part of Aaron Rodgers' Tuesday segment. Over the past few weeks, the segment has become a national story after Rodgers, in an apparent joke, claimed that ABC late-night host Jimmy Kimmel was worried about the Epstein list coming out.
A lot of people, including Jimmy Kimmel, are really hoping that doesn't
McAfee ultimately apologized for his show's role in the flap, saying he can understand why Kimmel would be upset.
I think that is because he's attached to ESPN. ESPN doesn't want any kind of civil lawsuit that comes from Jimmy Kimmel. There's obviously been a long-standing beef between Aaron Rodgers and Jimmy Kimmel. And when you start to get other people involved, see, one thing that a lot of people didn't pay attention to during the whole Cassie Diddy drama was when Cassie filed her lawsuit, she didn't just file it against Diddy. She filed it against Diddy, Bad Boy, all of the record labels that was around, Revolt. She found, or whoever her lawyer was, found every single person that they can sue. And so I believe that there's people that get into other people's ear that then determine what goes on. And Pat McAfee himself said that he wanted to clarify why Aaron Rodgers won't be on his show because he added that he wanted to try and avoid controversy. I thought that that was the whole idea of what Pat McAfee was. I thought that that was why ESPN wanted Pat McAfee on the show in the first place, was because he was unfiltered. They did what they wanted to do, and they was not a part of the Disney machine. And this is the thing that a lot of people fear about their favorite content creators or whoever it is that they follow on the internet since they were smaller and they built up their following. When they get the bag, they change. You know, I pray, because I'm starting to get more phone calls and things like that, right? And I pray that if I ever get my 30 to 50 to $100 million contract, that either I don't change who I authentically am, because I never, listen, once you reach a certain threshold, you're beyond having a sellout. So I pray, because I had a dream last night. Honest to God, I had a dream last night that I got a huge offer from a major network, and then I turned them down, and then I woke up really, really excited about it, right? And the reason that I was excited about it is because I had gotten to a point where I was comfortable enough in my own skin, and I had reached financial thresholds in my life to where I couldn't be bought in order to filter or censor myself or walk away from the people that supported me. And if I ever have to change, then I prefer not to do it at all, because if I'm going to change, I'm going to change for the better. And I want to absolutely positively stay who it was that I built this whole thing with. I want to change, but I want to change and evolve in a good way. I want to change and continuously improve in what it is that we put together. But I don't want to start changing as far as not being able to say what I wanted to say, or start doing certain things a certain way and getting away from the core of who I am. Not to say that I would ever get that big of a deal or something like that, right? But the whole point is that I thought that that was the reason why people feared Pat McAfee going over to ESPN and Disney in the first place. I don't know. Anyways, moving on. Eric Spoelstra. I covered this a little bit on a video that I dropped before I did my live stream last night. But Eric Spoelstra agreed to an 8-year, $120 million contract extension. Take a look.
To some news now out of Miami. Heat coach Eric Spoelstra has agreed to an 8-year contract extension worth more than $120 million, the most committed money in North American coaching history, according to our senior insider Adrian Wojnarowski. Spoelstra, who has won 2 championships and reached the NBA Finals 6 times, is now locked in with the only franchise he has ever coached. And look at here. Heat royalty chimed in on social media to salute their former coach. LeBron posting, worth every single cent, and D-Wade followed up with 8 money bags for the 8-year deal, of course. Adrian Wojnarowski is back with us now.
Now, here's the caveat. And again, I alluded to this before the live stream yesterday in a video that I dropped. The deal is the largest known coaching contract in NBA history, and the total value surpassing San Antonio Spurs coach Popovich, 5 years, more than $80 million, a deal that still carries a higher annual salary. However, both deals are a ripple effect of the market resetting a 6-year, $78.5 million deal that Monty Williams got with the Detroit Pistons. Oh, my God. But 8 years, $120 million. Here's the key. His wife is being trolled by people on the internet because they basically saying that she fumbled the bag. Now, why would they say that she's fumbling the bag? They're saying that she's fumbling the bag because he didn't sign his contract extension until after his divorce was finalized. Now, this woman was a woman that worked for the Heat organization. Apparently, he met her as she was like the head coach of the cheerleaders or something like that, right? And people are basically saying that she fumbled the bag because he signed a record-breaking 8-year, $120 million extension, but he signed it after his divorce from the former Heat dancer, and his divorce was finalized November 2023 after 7 years of marriage, and then right after that, he signed his contract extension. So I don't know how you smart man. Men are wising up. Men are starting to get smart. They no longer finding themselves in a stupid space where, you know, they now still putting themselves under duress and all of this crap. They starting to wise up, and they said, nah, you're not getting the rest of this. So congrats to his lawyer. He had a phenomenal lawyer. Congrats to everybody that participated in making sure that he got his contract extension. But you can't say that she fumbled the bag because it was never hers in the first place. She never coached the game. She wasn't there before he became head coach of the Heat, right? So why do y'all keep thinking that y'all entitled to something that he earned rightfully? He earned it rightfully. Honestly, Anton, I think if you got offered 30 to 40 to 50 million, let me address this comment real quick. Honestly, Anton, I think that if you got offered 30 to 40 to 50 million, you'll likely curb your content like everyone else. Pat McAfee was making an S ton of money and he just wanted ESPN validation. No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. I would never sell out. I would never sell out. Listen, there's no amount of money that you can get me to buy me as far as me selling out. If I don't believe in it, now if you offered me the money and I could do what I wanted to do, then cool. But if I don't believe in it, then I'm not selling it out. Listen, I don't really know if you know how much money I make already. I don't know if you know. Look, it's nothing that I cannot buy today that I could not buy if I got a $30 million contract. Nothing. There is nothing that I cannot. Listen, at 30 million after taxes really is only about 16, 17. Is nothing that you can offer me today that I cannot already buy for myself even with that. There's nothing that you can buy. I'm not worried about it. Listen, I'm not even close, not even remotely. I'm about 18, 19 years away from the apex of what I'm going to be making. When I look back on my life, I don't want to look back and say, yeah, I did it only for the money. I want to be rewarded accordingly. It's nothing that I can't buy that you don't already. Yo, I'm richer than a lot of your favorite basketball players. A lot of these former NBA players, a lot of these former NFL players. I got it out the mud the hard way. Didn't skip steps, didn't do any of that. So unless I could just do whatever it is that I want to do, I'm not tripping off of that. I'm never going to leave my core audience behind because they are the people that help make this platform. They are part of it. Chat Lives Matters. And that's the thing that I'm going to continue to do. Flat out. Oh, you don't think that I got offered a lot of money already, but then I surpassed what the money was that they was offering me already? When I see people say that like that in the chat, I know who you are. And then I know who to stay away from because I know that you'll sell me out just because they offered you a few shekels just like they offered Judas. They will, look, when I see people in the chat say, I know you, no, you just projecting your own insecurities. Because basically what you'll tell me is that you'll sell me out for 50 pieces of silver. I'm not selling my people out for 50 pieces of silver. My people been holding me down this entire time. Ask them. You know how you know that I'm a real one? You know how you know that I'm a real one? Because I've never changed my coaching prices. There are people that basically charge 10 times what I charge. I charge my corporate clients a lot of money, but the people that rock with me, I've never changed my coaching prices, no matter how much money that I make. I've never changed my coaching prices because the only thing that I charge is based off of what my time is worth, not necessarily to make the most money. I've never asked anybody that's ever got a coaching call. Fa Brown, he right there. Fa Brown is in there right now. Antonio Watkins is in there right now. It's a lot of people in this chat that got coaching calls to me, and I give my all to them. And I have never charged them one more dollar than whatever it is that I came into the game charging as far as what it is that my time was worth. Mr. Lott is right there. I've never charged one more dollar. Demetrius is right there. I coach college kids, bro. I coach college kids. I don't switch up. I don't change. I don't raise prices. I don't try to maximize it. Randy is right there. I don't try to maximize the amount of money that I can make. I don't try to skim people. I don't raise the price that I charge inside of the Patreon. My price has been the same since day one. I don't adjust with inflation. I don't even raise the prices on the people that I rent from. And that's a fact, though. You don't believe it. You don't believe it. I have never raised the prices on not one person that I've ever rented out my properties to. It's the same prices. I'm not like y'all, bro. I don't do it for money. Money is a residual effect of what it is that we make. Hey, what's going on?
Oh, what's up, brother? How are you?
How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. Just running.
Yeah,
Just running.
you,
I'm good, though.
everything is good at the house?
Everything's always good at the house.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
make sure you send me that quote for that work that and then we'll figure it out from there.
yeah, for sure. I'm just going to go through the base now a little bit more. I was talking with Tatiana. Yeah, I was kind of a little agitated. She knows damn well not to jump the gun, so she jumped the gun without telling me, and then she opened up a can of worms. So my apologies for that.
No, you cool, man. Listen, we've had a great relation. How long have you guys been renting from me?
It's been 8 years.
You guys have been renting from me from 8 years?
8 years, man.
And guess what? And you know what the funny thing is? I was talking to my wife the other day, and I said, "Do you know I've never ever raised the prices on them for rent?"
Yeah, that's what you were saying last time. Do you realize we haven't signed a contract in like 5 years?
Yeah, but it's just because we got a good relationship, and I love you guys, and I would listen. I will never ever raise the prices of rent on you guys. I always love my people, and you guys take care of the property. I love you guys. I don't even come over there and check on you guys.
I mean, the feeling's mutual. We can't complain, and I hope you can't either. So, no, it's good all around. But yeah, man, I'm gonna get through it. I'm just wrapping up work here. I got some errands to run. I stopped and see my granny. My granny had a stroke.
Oh man.
It's all good. She's doing good.
Well, listen. Let me know if you guys need anything. Okay.
No, we're good. I'm just gonna go through. I'm gonna do some a little bit more investigating. I've been so busy at work. I'm gonna research the around the furnace area a little bit more myself. Get a material list together, and like I said, I've dealt with this stuff so many times in my life, and what they came back with is exactly what most of those guys would tell you. They try to scare the hell out of you, and then.
Well, yeah, that's because they trying to fleece the insurance company and stuff too. But I'd rather.
Exactly right. So,
I'd rather give you the money because I have a relationship with you than give it to them. So.
For sure, man. And like I said, I don't like to spend money unless we have to, and that's how I deal with my clients, and that's definitely how I'm going to deal with you. So I'm just going to do, the bare minimum. It's a rental property, and you know what I mean. So, and to make my lady happy. So.
Yep, and then tell Tatiana I say hello.
Absolutely. I'll like I said, I'm gonna get home later today. I'm gonna get a material list together. I may have tomorrow off, so I may take some time first thing in the morning to gather some materials and.
Well, I'll cut you. I'll send it directly to you. I'll pay for the materials, whatever it is that you need me to do. Just let me know.
Yeah, no worries. I'll touch base with you and say, let's say tomorrow. Tomorrow in the AM. Tomorrow by lunchtime, you'll hear something from me.
Okay, my friend. All right. Let me know if you need anything.
I appreciate it, man. Have a great day.
All right. Bye. I ain't never capped a day in my life. I ain't never capped a day in my life. I ain't never raised the rents on nobody that had ever leased a property from me, not one time. I don't sell out like y'all. I'm not trying to make the maximum amount of money. I make sure that I pour into people first and they take care of me as a result of it. I've never had a tenant move out of any one of my properties. Not one. I ain't never, ever. What up, Keisha in Miami? I love you. I ain't never moved out. I ain't never had a tenant move out of not one of my properties. They love me and I love them back. Listen, I'm the same way online as I am in real life. I'm the same way online as I am in real life. I never sell out. I never raise the prices on my tenants. Ever. We've been doing business without a contract. The first time that they moved in and they leased from me, they signed a contract. Shortly after that, over the past 5 years, we ain't even did no paperwork. They pay their rent on time. I make sure that I take care of them. They take care of me, and that's just the end of the conversation. I always make sure that I take care of my people. I always look out for them. Straight up. They got children. Good people. You know what I'm saying? So listen, when you do good business, people look out for you. And it's some of us that's still left that's good people, that's real people. All of us ain't out here finessing. All of us ain't out here scamming. See, just because you don't know where all of my rental properties are because I have them in a trust, don't mean that they don't exist. I done own properties for the past 10 years, family. For the past 10 years, I've been accumulating properties like Monopoly. I've been rich longer than some of y'all kids have been alive. And I ain't never sold out. You can't buy me with money. Come on, man. This is what I need y'all to do. I need y'all to have integrity. I need y'all to have love. I need y'all to be a true representation of what being a godly person is. It's not about whether or not you curse. It's not about any of that other type of stuff. It's more or less about how you treat people. The way that you treat people on this earth is the way that you show that you love God. That's why I be so heartbroken when people do bad things to me, because I be like, me? Anton, I ain't never did bad business. I always treat people better than what it is that they treat me. And I always make sure that people fly first class. I always make sure that people are taken care of. That's why I'm so blessed. I'm blessed financially because of what it is that I do. My currency is the people. The money is just the residual effect of it. That's why people love me. We in quick hits, y'all. Hold on, let me back up. I thought I was on the pulpit for a minute. This is quick hits. This quick hits. Let's get back to the next story. Shout out to Eric Spoelstra. And then last but not least, earlier footage surfaced of Biden basically saying that he was against open borders. Take a look.
That no great nation can be in a position where they can't control their borders. It matters how you control your borders, not just for immigration, but it matters for drugs, terror, a whole range of other things. So that's the first sort of truism. The second truism is that this nation is such that people in the country should have the first opportunity to be able to have jobs that pay well and have jobs that are decent, and that after that, the second crack goes to what we may need from other parts of the world or any other input. We have to. And I had been arguing when I'm back in my days as chairman of the Judiciary Committee and straight through as the leader of the Foreign Relations Committee, I've been arguing for the need to put more protection at our borders, meaning that you have more border guards. This president, refusing to add the number of border guards, now said he has to send the National Guard down. He vetoed. He was against adding the number of border guards. I only can suggest the reason he was is because he needed that money for his tax cuts that were unnecessary. I'm not being facetious. I'm being serious. Again, show me what you value. He had put a higher value on tax cuts for the wealthy than he did on protecting the border. And all of a sudden, the public responds, and now he says, now we got to send the National Guard down there that's already overstretched by God knows how much. You know the units going in and out of your own state going to Iraq and to Afghanistan. So I think what you have to do is you have to have a significant increase.
Somebody is saying that this footage is from 50 years ago. This footage is from 2007 when they were campaigning for Obama to become president of the United States of America. This footage is from 2007. This is not yesterday. This is not the day before. This is footage from 2007.
In the security at the border, including limited elements where you actually have a fence. Not a fence 3,000 miles like these folks are talking about, but you've got to, there are certain places people can go over and under a fence, but you can't take 100 kilos of cocaine over and under a fence. And what you do when you have limited places where fences are in populated areas, you force these drug dealers and others around, making it easier to apprehend because there's fewer places to come through.
Isn't that ironic, huh? So, when Anton comes on here and I say, I don't understand. But why did Biden come back and say, we're not going to build another centimeter of border wall and we're going to continue to let all of this happen? When we now live in an age where we have free reign on content creators in order to pull up the receipts, and we can say, oh, this is exactly what they really stand for. And we start combining and contrasting and trying to understand exactly what's happening. Now you understand why I'm so adamant about being independent, because I can call it like I see it and I don't have to be controlled by anybody that tells me what it is that I'm supposed to do. This man literally echoed the sentiments of your heart. So when y'all say, oh, no, we don't want to close off our borders because we're Democrats, so is he. He been a Democrat his entire life, and he told you out of his own mouth when he was coherent that it makes no sense. He was holding a Republican accountable for not closing off the borders. At the time, I think it was Bush that was in office, and he was holding him accountable for not closing off the borders, and now he's doing the exact same thing. It makes you wonder. That's your quick hits, ladies and gentlemen. Let me read some of the super chats, and we're going to continue over with the show from the realest. The realest. Shout out to my dog, Bitcoin Brown says, after hours format is so dope, boss. Letting that chat pick between topics and different studio views is just a vibe. Keep running the numbers up, and that's what we're going to continue to do. Thank you, my friend Bitcoin Brown. I appreciate you. Aileen says, thank you for pouring into us. I'm truly privileged to be under your guidance. Aw, I love you, Aileen. I have increased my income by 35% in 2023. I've also lost 82 pounds since following you. Thank you for changing my life. I love you, Eileen. I love you so much. You are my heart. You are truly my heart. You are my baby. You the reason why I do it. I don't do it for the majority. I do it for the minority. Increasing your income by 35%. And I ain't even talking about losing 82 pounds. Extending your life by years is the thing that I want for you. I love you. I love you. I love you for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? That's what love is. AL says, best coach in the league. Shout out to my dog, AL. I appreciate you. AL got my real phone number in real life, too. In real life. Seminole 2014 says, she didn't fumble the bag. Miami looked out for Spo and waited for the divorce to be finalized. Heat culture for life. Facts. Shout out to her. I love it. Hey, y'all give a round of applause in the chat for Eileen. We love her. We love that girl. Ken J says, Mexico's greatest leader of all time is Joe. Jay Denoir, 89 says, perhaps I didn't articulate my statement properly. What I was trying to get at is that the corporations think that they own you once they put big money up. I like your content. I'm a supporter, not a Judas, my friend. No. I'm not saying that you as a Judas. I'm saying that people like Gangster of Love saying that I would sell out is the type of person that would sell out for 50 shekels. 50 shekels. They'll sell you out. I don't think that you are. Shout out to you, Jay Denoir. I appreciate you. And they do own you. When they give you money, they have to recoup and they want to control you and they want to control their sponsors. And so it's reasonable. I'm not unreasonable in that I believe that you should be able to do what you want to do with other people's money. But that's one of the reasons why I put up 100% of my own money. I don't even go to the bank for financing. I'd rather finance it myself. That means I can control 100% of what happens on the property. I can control 100% what happens in my studio. I can control 100% what happens on my sets. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with that. Shout out to you, Jay Denoir. I appreciate you. Speeds the B says you were on fire last night. Keep up the work, yo. Y'all know what's going to happen on a Wednesday night. Shout out to you. All right, let's get into the show. First and foremost, we got a lot to cover, ladies and gentlemen, so make sure you buckle up your seat. We also going to be live streaming on Saturday to make up for when I missed out earlier this week on Tuesday. So I got y'all. I'm still going to make up for y'all, all right? And then I'm going to keep y'all up to date on what happened next week because I know Rita got to go through a surgery, so make sure y'all keep y'all prayers up for her because I got to figure out how to move that around and what the schedule is going to be. But we'll get there. Let's go ahead and get started with the show. First and foremost, sponsored by Tej Henley. Tiffany Henyard was she was roasted by Fox News. Tiffany Henyard was roasted. Apparently, she's starting to really hit national headlines when a small city mayor is starting to have entire segments that's dedicated to her. You know it's bad out here in these streets.
An Illinois mayor is getting national attention for the way that she's spending taxpayer dollars. Now, critics say you can't turn your head in the Chicago suburb of Dalton without seeing the name of Mayor Tiffany Henyard. She's also the supervisor of a neighboring township and refers to herself as Super Mayor. It's her TikTok handle, too. But she's now accused of spending tens of thousands of taxpayer funds on self-promoting billboards, as well as putting her name on government buildings, government vehicles, even government rugs. Not to mention the Tiffany Henyard calendar, which includes the super mayor's birthday, because you can't forget that. She could pay for all of this herself, given that her salary for the 2 jobs is nearly $300,000. More than the state's governor, by the way. But it's all on the taxpayer's dime.
Ladies, is this not, because then they're going to tell y'all that, you know, the stereotype is real. Don't evaluate every black woman the same way. Ain't that what y'all did to the police? Y'all categorize every police officer as evil. And so now when it's your turn, because basically she's a reflection of you. She wear all of the wigs and all of the sew-ins. She paying whoever it is that's in her administration an egregious amount of money because, you know what I'm saying, they got to allegedly make those late night visits according to a lot of the reports on the news. She's always self-promoting. She got to be in the front instead of leading from the back. She's not really on the field. She's using taxpayer dollars in order to continue to promote herself. All of this stuff, right? And now she's starting to get national news. So the question then is she a good representation of y'all, and should y'all hold her accountable as a sister code? Or should we just not judge all of y'all by the same standards by which she's running this town?
And this goes beyond signage.
Wait. She's an AKA? Oh. Hey, shout out to AL. Shout out to you, Aaron. Y'all and all. I bet you she probably went to an HBCU. She probably went to an HBCU. Part of my tours, when I go and meet y'all in person, I'm going to make sure I stop at all of the places that I'm holding accountable today. Good.
Merch. Henyard put an ordinance in place that if she lost a future mayoral election, the next mayor's salary would be dropped from $200,000 to $25,000. But if she wins, it stays the same. She also spent tens of thousands of dollars on a week-long walk to promote her self-named cancer charity, which has yet to file required reporting. She expensed almost $15,000 for a trip to Vegas, as well as shooting music videos like this awesome one with fellow city employees. Here's one official in Henyard's Township on some of the super mayor's super spending.
What was your reaction when you saw it?
Well, first of all, I didn't know anything about him. There's so many other ways we could have spent that money that would have, directly helped people.
Hey. I know the feds is like, ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. The feds is watching. She could have avoided all of this. I could have coached her up. It was people in her camp that I had close relationships with and got in touch with, and they had called me and said, Anton, whatever. And she decided to make the executive decision to avoid me instead of getting in contact with me. She could have got a coaching call. I would have solved for all of this and helped her win her reelection and keep her bag and keep her money. And in the meantime, I could have called off all of the dogs from being able to do all of these live streams and these recordings about her. But no, she decided that she wanted to play it differently. And now you on Fox News. Right up under and right before President Biden makes remarks. You don't want to be on Fox News right before they got in the lower right-hand corner, President Biden makes remarks. That's not the segment that you want to debut your life on. That's not the segment that you want to debut your whole thing on. Y'all ain't seen the music video? I don't really want to play it because it got copyrighted music in it and I don't want to mess up my bag, but y'all can go out and do it. She should have paid attention. She should have paid attention. They say you did this, Anton. Nobody was checking for her until you began posting. No, look, you're not going to hold me accountable for the fact that she decided that she wanted to continue to do this nonsense. You can't hold me accountable. It's her fault. Y'all should not be victim shaming. I'm a victim. My tax dollars, well, maybe not my tax dollars, but the people of Dolton's tax dollars is going into this and Thornton Township.
This truth is stranger than fiction. This is like a sitcom, but there is nothing funny about this.
I was trying not to laugh when you're reading all that. It's really hard. This is why we can't have nice things. I love the drop in pay in case she loses, just to spite the person who beats her. Hilarious. imagine if she was leveraging her position to rake in foreign money to enrich her family. I mean, that would be crazy. That's what Joe Biden's doing.
Yep.
But, you know, I mean, look,
we got it. Yeah, we got it.
We wonder why government is so broken and so corrupt. It's because we elect people like her and Joe Biden.
And the thing is, Kaylee, you know, she's playful. There's a hustle there. You know, there's something sort of endearing about her. But when you bring it all to taxpayers' dollars,
seen that too,
then it
David
becomes
Williams.
patently unacceptable.
When people in her town have a median income of $24,000, it becomes just despicable and not just laughable. But back to the laughable, because I couldn't read enough of this. She was voted to be recalled by her constituents. It was overturned because of a technicality by the court. After her recall election, okay, it's from FoxNews.com, in response to the failed recall, Hayard showed up at the next board meeting blasting a disco song, began dancing on the podium. "How y'all doing?" she said, blaring into the microphone. "Ain't no stopping us now. We on the move. Ain't no stopping us now."
Listen. You know why this is allowed to go on in poor communities, in a community where the average median income is $24,000, where it's below the poverty line? You know why this is allowed to go on? I was talking to somebody on the phone over there, some significant people, and we was trying to figure out if we wanted to do an in-person and live interview and all of this stuff, right? And do you know that she has fierce, and when I say fierce, I mean fierce supporters that continue to hold her down, even though it's costing them additional monies, even though it's putting their city in a bad spotlight, even though, you know, they're raising taxes on the residents in order to pay for this. This is a poor person's dilemma. Poor people are the most loyal people when it comes to supporting bad behavior, despite having evidence otherwise. Why do you think that churches thrive so much, even though they continue to promise you that you're going to get a blessing with how much money, that depending on how much money you give over into the collection plate? Why do you think that people have continued to perpetuate the narrative that the pastor pulls up in a Cadillac, but everybody else is catching the bus to the church and the parking lot is empty? Why do you think that that's been a thing that's been happening since the beginning of time? That is a poor community's dilemma. In communities where it's a little bit more thriving, where people are participating, where they have a higher income, and they understand that the decisions that you make affect their lives, they're more involved. They're more objective, right? Why do you think that Harvard wound up forcing Claudine Gay to resign? Regardless of what I thought, regardless of what you thought, they forced her to resign. You know why? Because when you start messing up the money, then they're going to have to do something about it. But poor people that are under poverty, and that they continue to always go straight line regardless of what happens, and they're unable to think for themselves. That's why they vote the way that they vote, because they're not able to really look at the facts and then make an objective decision as to whether or not listen, them supporting this bad behavior is really just enabling her to continue to come up under the bus. Because the more that she feels empowered, the more that she feels like she got support, the less receptive she's going to be to advice that would actually help her do the right thing and keep her outside of the spotlight. And this is why you continue to see it rolling over, and now they got it on Fox News right before the president's remarks at 3:15 Eastern the other day.
Typically, if you narrowly survive a recall, there's some humility. But leave it to this lady to come with the disco music. I got it. And then the music videos on top of all that.
Hexa, that's like that scene, remember in Batman, the original, the best one with Michael Keaton, where Joker comes in blasting that awesome Prince song. And the whole thing is he was defacing all of the city's
Look at these idiots dancing in the video with her.
It's sort of an analogy here, because at the end of the day, her constituents are suffering, and she's having a grand old time, and looks like in Vegas too.
Yeah, I love all of it. You know why? Because it's a cartoon. It's a cartoon of what happens every day, the grift, the compromise, the gold bars, the foreign influence, all that. Everybody else tries to hide it and pretend like they're not doing it. She's just doing it. Now, you know, she'll probably not win re-election, and the next mayor's only going to get paid $25,000.
They're going to have to crowdfund.
Too bad. You know, good for the city. That's where they save money. Like it's. So it's amazing.
I don't take her seriously until she does something that harms that city. And I think she is harming the city by spending its money on things that the city can't reap the benefits of. The couple things that I saw in the video, and I don't know if we can replay them, I thought that her support of law enforcement and first responders, as she's dancing there with police officers and then she goes to the firehouse, that is something that I could really love.
Mm-hmm.
And leave it to the sister code to keep her uplifted. And of course, because she's on Fox and because, you know, she want to make sure that she don't look bad or lose her job or anything like that, right? But look, the sister code is going to be with you. And this is the enabling of bad behavior. Of course, she's going to say, but I don't really support her, you know, some of the stuff that she's doing in order to harm and this and that and this and that. But ultimately, she's going to highlight the good. And this is the sister code. This is why, in a lot of instances, most of y'all don't do the thing that's in your own best interest is because you're always supporting the thing that's not best for you. And this is a bigger problem. Now it's becoming a molehill turned into a mountain. And the sisters are always the ones that's always going to make sure that you hold it down. Identity politics, we all know what it is. We all know what it is. And so when everybody got quiet, look, when she first started talking, everybody got quiet.
And first responders, as she's dancing there with police officers and then she goes to the firehouse, that is something that I could really love for politicians to do.
Good point.
And I wish that they would crowdfund for the food for that event and let us all just go and celebrate them. And so
this is what keeps women from being held accountable. Connie says she doesn't do the sister code things, plus she's married to a white dude. I'm only reacting to what it is that I see. Nope, I'm only going by what it is that I see and what I hear. You're not going to tell me she didn't just say what she said. You're not going to tell me that she didn't just say what she said. Maybe she doesn't support the sister code on most of them, but I'm going by what I just witnessed right here. And for some reason, y'all think that just because somebody is married to a white guy or a black guy is married to a white woman, then that then gives them a pass because somehow, some way, they're not on code anymore. No, we go by what you say on an individual basis, and we're objective enough to separate it so that we can make an informed decision versus what you saying that your life is. When I stand on business and I switch up on what I say or I do whatever it is that I do and y'all hold me accountable, that's just what it is. I can't sit here and say, well, no, I'm married to a black woman. No, I said what I said and it is what it is. And so she was holding her down and she wanted to change the whole dynamics of how this woman is being painted. But in reality, we know what's happening. When you pass an ordinance that say if anybody beats you in an election, they go from making more than $200,000 to less than $25,000 for the position. Who is this sprinkle woman? All right, I'm going to have to look that up. I'm going to look inside of my you're not a blackity black, so you don't speak for blacks. All right. I see Gangsta Love really wants some attention. He want me to pay attention to him so bad. I know when the bad kids act out in class so that they can try to get some special attention from you. Oh, no, you go stand in the corner. And then you go home feeling like, oh, Anton loved me because he finally put me in the corner. That's what Gangsta Love is. So we're going to let him continue to be bad inside of the chat because he's the bad kid in class. He the one in class that always want to get your attention and the teacher. He was the one in class in school. Don't block him. Don't you block him. Don't you block that boy. You leave him here. Don't block him. He has not been disrespectful. He has not been disrespectful. Let him continue to be bad. He acting out. We gotta meet him with love. Gangsta Love in the chat. We gotta meet him with love. See? He just want my attention. He got it. Oh, you listen. Hey, Gangsta Love, how's it going today? Is everybody treating you good? Listen, we love you and we appreciate you. We want you to do well today, okay, baby? All right. Let me go ahead and read some of the super chats and we're gonna get it going with the show. Jacques Well says, may the Lord guide the hands of the surgeon. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Thank you, my friend. Brittany B says she be fresh as hell when the feds is watching. Facts. Joe Gunn 84 says Anton Shara 7 is the name of the sprinkle lady. She needs to be stopped. I sent her videos to your Instagram for her DMs. All right. I'll look it up in a minute. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. I don't know who the sprinkle person is. David Williams says a town literally right next to Dolton called Riverdale. Yeah, I know about that the black man mayor. The black man mayor that got arrested by the feds. They say them boys is watching. See, the thing about the feds is that they don't swoop in. All right. Let me see who this lady is. Y'all gonna make this show real interactive today. Let's see. Shara 7 is her YouTube name. YouTube. What does she do? Why do y'all say she got to be stopped? What is she doing? What is the thing that she got going on here? What does she do that's so awesome? All right, let me pull it up. Give me a second. I'll put her on a list to address on after hours. Let me see. I don't see anything yet, but I'm gonna pull up her stuff and see what she's doing. Give me a second.
Hey y'all, welcome to the channel, Sprinkle. So, just want to say thank you to a few people right before we start talking about the topic. So, thank you, Miss Denise, for sending me one of the items on my gift list. I truly appreciate you. She sent me J'adore without every day saying my nose is ugly, and it's becoming a mental problem. Perhaps, maybe. Okay. If it's causing you mental issues, then change it. That's all I can tell you. If they're not causing you mental issues, then learn how to contour. All right. Talk about him. Don't talk about you. He don't care about you. All he cares about is how you see him and how he can impress you.
Let me see how many subscribers she got really quickly. She got 569,000 subscribers. Well, then that means that it's a whole lot of, if y'all saying that she gives bad takes, because I have not seen this woman before. I don't know her. I can't, you know what I'm saying, ever react. I'm not going to automatically say, let me see if she got her Patreon numbers up. She got 192 paid Patreon members. Or she got 192 Patreon members. That's really good. I think that's dope. She got 100 and something paid Patreon members, so. Yeah, I think that's awesome. I think that's absolutely awesome. It ain't nothing like what we do. Somebody said I was capping about my number of members in my Patreon. That's my numbers. So it's a little bit different for me. So we looking to grow this. We want our bag chasers to go up to 10K this year. I want it to be 10,000 bag chasers this year. I don't want there to be any shortage of people that really get the information that they need. We actually grew by a little over 114 members over the last couple of days. So make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Shout out to her for her 192 members. I want to get to over 10K this year. I want over 10K chasers this year. I want a lot of people showing up at the meetups, all of that. I don't want them to be a shortage of people that's getting the information that they need in order to be successful. All right. Let's move on. Let me read the rest of these super chats, and then we're gonna move on with the rest of the show. Shout out to all of the people with their 192 members. I think that's dope. I think that's absolutely awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and get over here to the other side of it. David Williams says, a town literally next door to Dolton called Riverdale just had their mayor arrested by the Fed. Oh yeah, I read that. Shout out to that. Spaces says, the newscaster had that crisp Steve Harvey liner. Shout out to that. I appreciate you. I think we got enough people to do the tour now. Y'all think of that? I think we got enough people to do the tour now. Easy Money says the Muppets are winning. Hilarious. Shout out to you. Enforcer 2K9 says, if y'all can let Biden know that y'all not black, tell you how you not black, shut the F up about black folks losing their black card for dating white. That's a fact. That's a fact. Tamara, I'm coming to your town. Somebody said I'm on the fence about the Patreon. Listen, we not begging you to come. You going to have to come when you ready to come. You going to have to come into the Chasers when you ready to come. Listen, we don't need no testimonials. There's people in here that know what we do over here in the Chasers. We only want people that's ready to grow. We not going by people that's trying to figure out whether or not it makes sense. If you got to figure out whether or not $15 make $9 or $15 make the most sense for you, but you would go out here and spend $11 on a Biggie Fry and a number 9, you got bigger problems. Y'all go out here and spend $5,000 on a course and they're not giving you no information, but y'all meet me in person and I'm really giving you the game. So if you got to figure that out for yourself, then you're not ready to tap into the Patreon. All right? If you got to figure that out for yourself, then you're not ready. All right? Let's continue. The migrant crisis is basically, I did a meetup in Detroit at MGM Grand. I did one at MGM Grand, but I'm going to do another one. They says the migrant crisis is reaching a breaking point over there in Chicago. Let's continue.
Tonight, we continue our in-depth look at America's border crisis. The mayors of Chicago, New York City, and Denver say their cities have reached a breaking point due to a surge of migrants being bused from Texas. CBS's Maribel Gonzalez shows us the challenge in Chicago, where more than 34,000 migrants have arrived since 2022, with nearly half of them still in shelters.
These are the latest asylum seekers to arrive in Chicago. After a long journey by bus from Texas, this commuter train ride is probably their shortest trip. With temperatures plunging, so are their fortunes, as they arrive only wearing t-shirts and blankets in a city struggling to keep up. Nearly 15,000 are in shelters and 550 currently waiting for a bed. With no place to go, some are sleeping in tents, city buses, and even at Chicago's O'Hare Airport.
Remember when Mayor Johnson said that he got everybody outside of the airport and everybody out of the police stations? That's not the case. That's not the case. You know why it's not the case? Because there's not going to be a stoppage of the border walls being closed, and from people continuing to flood in here. You said meet up in Chicago next? I don't know about that. Is it safe to do a Patreon meetup in Chicago? That's one of the big cities. That's one of the main big cities that I have not done a meetup in yet. I have not done a meetup in Chicago. It's one of the cities that if I do a meetup in Chicago, are we gonna be safe from the crisis? Is Brandon Johnson and Tiffany Dolton gonna send their goons over there to come and address us? Because you know the city of Dolton and Thornton Township is only a hop, skip, and a jump away, right? I don't want Tiffany and Brandon sending their people over here to come and talk to me. I said, nah, ban in Chicago. As long as we have our borders open, and I don't know who it is that's lobbying so hard and sending so much super PAC money to make sure that our borders stay open, there will continuously be migrants sleeping in the airport, in the streets and tents, in front of the Chicago police station. It's a fact.
Pastor John Zayas has been on the front line since the first bus arrived in August 2022. He's part of a 17-church citywide unity initiative to find migrants temporary shelter.
The issue is that it's coming so fast.
And I'm starting to see this guy right here. I'm starting to see this guy right here on every single news station that does anything as it relates to migrants. This pastor right here is getting so much visibility. I mean, he getting so much visibility, and I don't know what this is. When I first noticed him and he had started hiring migrants and he was saying that his church is overflooded and they had to stop taking donations because they're getting so much in donations from people that's supporting the migrant crisis, I'm like, interesting. Maybe he's just a good, sweethearted spirit person. But I'm starting to see this guy do more interviews. I've seen him in at least 6 different interviews. I reviewed at least 3 or 4 different videos where he was doing interviews.
And it's hard for us to catch our breath.
Many, like Jason Urdaneta from Venezuela, end up here, sleeping in tents, braving the cold temperatures. He was a mechanic back home, but says that wasn't enough to live on. Luckily for him and the others waiting, their chance for a warm bed is here. The lack of shelter is widespread. New York and Denver have received thousands of migrants, and efforts to house them are outspaced. Pastor Zayas continues to look anywhere and everywhere for migrants like Jason Urdaneta to stay the night.
So it's kind of keeping that wheel rolling as people are moving and finding places to go and work.
Riding towards the unknown in a city stretched to its limits.
So they basically saying that Chicago is stretched. It's not another crack or crevice. Love C, I actually seen a video where somebody sent me that they were actually starting to house migrants inside of a former CBS. But here's the key, though. This is the part where we really start to pay attention, is because it's not just like migrants are just all over the city and we don't understand what's going on and all of that. Y'all do know that there's a lot of people making a lot of money as a result of this migrant crisis, right?
Hundreds of migrants are set to move into a new shelter that opened today in Little Village.
This as the city releases new data showing part of how much this all is costing. CBS 2's Sabrina Franza is live in the newsroom. Sabrina, what are you finding out?
Well, we know this isn't going to be enough. The mayor and the governor have said as much. They need the federal government to help fund the migrant mission and provide more space. The jury, or Congress, is still out on that.
A former CVS in Little Village is now a migrant shelter. About 220 asylum seekers about to move in.
It's well managed, and I think that, I feel good about the opportunity there.
Across the city, migrants are still living inside buses at the downtown landing zone. About 300 of the around 600 people waiting to move.
Not a bad kid that's swinging on the monkey bars inside of the bus. Love C says, looking to New Life, Little Village. You'll see nonprofits that are benefiting. Oh, interesting. Look at the little man that's swinging on the monkey bars inside of the bus.
Somewhere.
And I actually visited yesterday. It's phenomenal what we've been able to do in a relatively short period of time and to accommodate very young children. You know, early childhood education is very important to me, making sure these young children have a place that they can play even in a very difficult situation. That's been put into this site.
This latest space, just a drop in the bucket for the amount of people that need housing. Funding and space are running out. Mayor Brandon Johnson and Governor J.B. Pritzker continue their pleas to Washington.
We haven't seen those dollars yet, not nearly what we should. The federal government needs to do much more.
Today, the city updated their data on migrant-related vendor spending. The total, $156.2 million. That doesn't appear to include how much the city has spent within their own agencies, like the Department of Sanitation or Chicago Public Schools, to educate school-aged new arrivals. Inside shelters, vendor Favored Healthcare Staffing, a Kansas-based firm, continues to be the highest earner. The city paid them almost $97 million to assist the migrant mission between December 2022 and January of this year. Going forward, CBS 2 has learned the city and state modified their contract with Favored Staffing to spend an additional $30 million with the staffing firm.
In the contract, the city says that amount was an amount they did not know they would need at the start of this, saying in part, quote, it was not reasonably foreseeable at the time the contract was signed.
So basically everybody getting the bag, everybody making money, everybody is stealing money. And that one contract alone, because the totality of what's being spent as far as resources, manpower, federal dollars, state funds. And when I say federal dollars, it was monies that was allocated over to the city of Chicago, even related to the COVID or the pandemic funds that they then tapped into in order to continue to use to fund what was going on over in the migrant crisis. So if they couldn't find any money to help people that was already residents of Chicago continue to plot a path to success prior to this migrant crisis really hitting its apex like it's hitting right now, then how can they were able to find money and tap funds in order to get into it and even tap the $500,000 that they wanted to allocate towards the research of what reparations would look like, yet they don't even have the funds or the resources to continue to figure out what was going on in this migrant crisis. I seen something that came across my desk today that said, what did it say? Let me be very careful with my words. It was close to 1 million migrants had received work authorization that had been flying under the radar. One day we're going to get to the bottom of this. You know what I fear? I fear that we won't really understand the implications of our actions until 10 years from now. That's my biggest fear, especially regarding this migrant crisis. Because we didn't really, when we voted Obama into office, and when I say we, I was a culprit in that, and I'm going to be transparent. I don't know. Let me see, 2008, I was suffering. I was making a decision based off of my family. And then also on top of that, I was broke. I showed y'all what my budget looked like. And I was just looking for some hope. And they played off that hope for me, right? And they played it well. And, that combined with identity politics from older people. I voted for Obama his first election in the office. And I voted for Obama and Joe Biden. And I voted based off of the idea that we needed somebody to come in and solve for the conflict that was happening as far as the economy that was going on in Detroit. And so a lot of people don't understand is that local politics and national politics went hand in hand like that, especially for us in Michigan, because we were suffering. And I mean, when we suffering, I'm talking about we was losing jobs. We was hemorrhaging jobs like crazy. I'm telling y'all that bee suit. It was this guy. It was a flower shop called Wesley Berry Flowers, and people were literally lined up out the door in order to get into that bee suit. And so I voted for him, and we got Obama in office. But that was in 2008, and then by the time 2018 came, I realized that the things that he championed and the things that he was doing, the majority of it seems like it benefited the alphabet community. It didn't actually benefit the people. You could say, yeah, he gave a bailout money and they gave federal bailout money to the automakers, but Bush was already doing that before Obama got into office. And I think that Bush was probably the second Bush was probably one of the worst presidents. And that factored into it too, because I think that the second Bush was probably one of the worst presidents that I had ever seen in my history, in my lifetime. And so, I was a heavy supporter of the Republican Party prior to the economy absolutely going kapooey over here in Michigan and in Detroit. And in Michigan and in Detroit, it was absolutely horrible. And so we didn't understand the repercussions of our actions until well after Obama had left out of office. I think that people are starting to experience that with Trump now, and that they realize that he was actually a good president, and the thing that was sold to him as far as to get him out of office was the thing that's worse for us, which is why we're suffering through Joe Biden. And so I think that we're not going to really understand the repercussions of this migrant crisis until well after Joe Biden is long gone out of office. But that's just my prediction. Let me read a couple of the super chats, and then we're going to move over into the meat and potatoes of the show. Have you heard of the OS, the Cloward Piven strategy? Nope. I have not heard of it. Fill me in on what that is. Dame Smith says grandma can't even get her meds from from CVS no more. Joe Gun 84 says the Sprinkle lady is just like the Queen Maker, if not worse. She is coaching young women to be gold digging 304s. I bet Q know about her. Okay, well, here's the thing about it, Joe Gun. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to react to her. I'm not. Because why give her more visibility if you telling me that I'm not going to agree with her and she's doing the exact opposite of what we trying to do over here? I'm not going to react to her. Because why would I bring my audience into embracing her versus trying to focus on driving my audience to actually being successfully married and not being married to a gold digger? Right? I want healthy marriages. I want people to be in good situations. I'm not even going to pay no attention to her. I've never reacted to the other lady. I'm not going to react to this lady. I no longer give energy into things that I don't think is going to be conducive to my audience. So I could just tell you right now, I'm just going to absolutely tell you right now, you'll never, hopefully, I'm not going to say never, but it's a strong possibility I will never, ever react to this lady. She won't be a thing for me. And the biggest thing I'm trying to understand is, why do you guys pay attention to her if you don't agree with her? If you guys don't agree with her, why do y'all spend time on their live streams or watching their stuff? It's like when what was her name? Cynthia G was out and about, right? I never, ever actually react. I don't remember. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But I don't remember ever actually reacting to a Cynthia G video. Because why would I give it more views, or why would I subscribe to the channel, or why would I put that in my algorithm if I don't actually agree with her? I'm going to spend time on the things that I love. Listen, I'm going to treat y'all the same way that I treat my wife. I told her this from the time that we got married all the way up until today. I said, listen, we're going to spend 98% of our time on the things that we like about each other and 2% of our time on the things that we don't like. 2% of the time. Hey, gangsta love. Listen. I have a lot of patience. But I have a limited amount of time, or I have a limited amount of patience for super trollers. So listen, I know that you think it's cute. I know you want my attention. I'm going to give it to you limited. But I am the type of teacher that will kick somebody out of class and tell them to go to somebody else's class. So, I'm tread carefully. Because I'm going to tell them not to block you, but you just might find yourself blocked from me. All right? So, this is not the troll show. This is to respectfully disagree with people if you don't necessarily care about what it is that they're saying. So, it's up to you. Kung Fu Hustler says, clearly, some federal money laundering is going on. But I don't want to assume that. I believe that to be true also. No, I'm not calling nobody up. We're not going to have nobody disrupting what we got going on. We got a whole show to do. All right, let's move over into the next thing. The Fulton DA, District Attorney, is being accused of an improper relationship especially in relation to what is being prosecuted over in Trump. Now, if I'm not mistaken, over in Georgia, they had brought up about 91 charges against Trump in order to try to disqualify him and remove him from being elected from president. Okay? 91 charges from Trump in order to remove him and try to disqualify him from being elected. All right? But now documents are starting to be uncovered as far as this web of lies of an improper relationship that's then influencing whether or not they are biased in their prosecution of what's happening within the Trump case. Let me bring y'all up to speed of what's going on out here in these streets. Make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Check this out, y'all. Hold on. Why is it always black women that's at the front of the congregation? Are y'all starting to see a pattern? What's wrong with y'all right now? What's wrong with y'all right now? Are y'all not getting yourselves together? Look, check it out.
Audacious allegations involving Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis raising brand new questions tonight. This is The Six. I'm Sean Gables.
And I'm Blair Miller. She's accused of an improper relationship with a fellow prosecutor, and she's being ordered to appear at his divorce proceedings. Nathan Wade is the special prosecutor hired by Willis's office to help in the case against Donald Trump. And the accusations could mean trouble for that case. Atlanta News first political reporter Doug Reardon is live tonight outside Cobb County Superior Court.
Doug, the summons requesting Willis's testimony was served just hours before a Trump co-defendant filed the motion alleging that there was a romantic relationship.
Right, safe to say it has been a very busy week in this case. Now, those allegations include things like Willis's office paying Wade over $1 million over the course of his 3 years on this case, and that the two took lavish vacations together in that time period. And we suspect that a lot of this came from divorce filings from Nathan Wade's case, which he filed just a day after he was given this job as special prosecutor. So we tried to get them because that report that was filed on Monday includes no concrete evidence. But this was all we could find. When we went to the clerk's office in Cobb County Superior today, this was just it. The single piece of paper saying that his divorce case has actually been sealed since February of 2020.
Now, listen. Anything filed in court in 99% of all cases is public record. Anything filed in court, 99% of the time, is public record. I have never in my entire life, and maybe I need to tap into the lead attorney on this one. I've never in my entire life ever heard of a divorce proceeding or filing of a divorce proceeding to be sealed in court. Kevin Hart's lawsuits and all of this stuff, all of these celebrities, the minute that they file for divorce, it's already hitting the blogs. Tasha Gay got her hands on it. People reviewing it. People talking junk about it. Jeezy, Jenny Ma, everybody that you can think of, they're already in their stuff. And the minute that this person, special prosecutors, take lavish vacations together and all of this stuff, all of a sudden, everything is sealed. Now, they saying that she's a possibility of her to have to testify in his court proceedings. And I'm wondering, does that also include the idea that she probably contributed to his divorce? Lavish vacations together, paid him over $1 million over the last 3 years. Lavish vacations together. Wow. That's crazy. This speaks and reeks of bad business. Speaks and reeks of bad business. And you thought that y'all was going to be on vacation, lavish vacations, y'all over there in Tulum and you busting it down and throwing it back on him, and you don't think that eventually that this is going to get out, that the Trump administration and all of his lawyers is going to be hunting to try to figure out what's going on?
Two attorneys today tell us that is highly unlikely for divorce cases. A loan document indicating Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade's divorce case is sealed from public view is all we could get from Cobb County Superior Court. On Wednesday, reporters trickled into the clerk's office trying to get a hold of the divorce documents that could confirm the shocking allegations filed by a defendant in the Georgia election indictment. Divorce proceedings are a highly unusual thing to seal, multiple attorneys told Atlanta News First. But the divorce paperwork seems to be the basis for defendant Michael Roman's filing, claiming his charges should be dropped because Willis and Wade were involved in a romantic relationship while Wade was in the employ of Willis's office in Lee.
So y'all busting it down. Is it safe to say most people that work together? I told y'all. I lined it out on an episode on a Wednesday night, not this past weekend, not this week, just yesterday, not the week before that, probably the week before that, and I lined it out. And I said, do you know why most guys used to keep their girls at home? It's because when they let them out to roam, then they was out here busting it down and throwing it back for dudes that's not best for them. Busting it down and throwing it back. Having a romp of a time. What's her name? Let me look this woman up. Fulton DA Fani Willis. Let's see what this woman look like. Is she a bigums or no? Like is she like thick or is she thick? I just want to know. I want to see what's happening out here in these streets. Is she a bigums or no, y'all? Y'all let me know. Y'all know what Fani Willis looks like? Yeah, she looked like a bigums. We throwing it back with her? What'd she tell you? Oh, this must have been in her slimmer days. Oh, okay, she all right. She all right. She not a bigums. I don't know. Not Fani. Not Fani. Yeah. She a little tank. She a little tank. But you know what they say about them tanks? Know what they say about them tanks? And no, she not big bone. I just wanted to know what we dealing with. I don't know Fani that well. So I might have to tap some special counsel to better understand what's going on in these streets.
Leading the prosecution of the indictment. Also this week, District Attorney Fani Willis was served a subpoena to testify in Wade's divorce case.
And I'm pretty sure that she feels she has nothing to hide, so she's going to go ahead and testify.
Attorney J. Edward Chip says whatever Willis says in her testimony could be used by Roman's attorneys to fight his charges.
I think it's a creative legal maneuver. You don't see this every day in which a person says this person had a romantic relationship.
I can't stand you. How do we know it's true? I'm just going based off of, well, we don't know if it's true or not because they sealed the divorce proceedings. And so they can't, listen, look, this is why this is important to know. I'm going to tell you why this is important to know and why I like interacting with the chat. Because you got people's freedom on the line. People's freedom is on the line, and there are certain ways that you're supposed to be operating above board, especially as a special prosecutor and people prosecuting cases and sharing information and how that's affecting how you're going to do your case and all of that. And because we need to do things above board because you have people's freedom on the line and that guy and Trump and all of this stuff, and you don't want that to be influenced or messed up or people not recusing themselves and what is your agenda and all of that. And so you have to do things above board when you're a public servant. This is why this is important. And so I'm not saying that she did. I'm saying that we need to know what the hell is going on because people shouldn't be being prosecuted under duress. That's only right. It's only right.
So therefore, the case in chief is invalid But hey, if it works, it works.
And so it is highly unlikely. A lot of attorneys that we talked to told us that the case and the charges against Roman will get dismissed as he is asking over these allegations. They tell me what is more likely is that this case could get removed from Willis's possession and removed from Fulton County altogether and be given to another jurisdiction. We're in copy.
Explosive allegations tonight from one of former President Donald Trump's co-defendants right here in Georgia.
He has some pretty bold claims about Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis. Atlanta News First anchor Tori Cooper has been digging through that court filing. So, Tori, what are they actually claiming here?
Well, tonight, former Trump campaign staffer Michael Roman and his attorney Ashley Merchant are.
And no, I'm not going to get distracted from Tori Cooper. I do think that Tori Cooper is kind of cute, but I'm not going to get distracted.
Claiming District Attorney Fani Willis had an inappropriate and romantic relationship with the top prosecutor in the case, Nathan Wade. In this new court filing obtained by Atlanta News First, Michael Roman and his attorneys are accusing the Fulton County DA Fani Willis and Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade of having an inappropriate and romantic relationship and that the two benefited from it. The suit claims Willis and Wade took lavish vacations together and that he used part of his salary from the DA's office to travel with Willis. Roman's attorney claims they discovered that the two went on trips together, quote, outside of court filings. The suit goes on to claim the relationship began before Wade was appointed to the case. They claim Willis also failed to get county approval to appoint Wade as special prosecutor in the case.
So you telling me that that's not a conflict of interest, that she didn't, based on these accusations, if she didn't get approval to even be able to appoint him as special prosecutor, but she was letting him bust her down, that's not a conflict of interest? Come on, man. Stop, bro. Come on, bro. This is dirty. This is nasty. This is dirty. And we know that people do special favors for the ones that's blowing their back out. What you think, that he wasn't going to get the bag? That he wasn't going to benefit from it? What is his name? What is this guy's name? Hold on, let me back up for a minute.
First, Michael Roman and his attorneys are accusing the Fulton County DA Fani Willis and Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade of having an inappropriate and romantic relationship. Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade.
Now let's pull up Nathan Wade. We're going to go ahead and find out. Do a little bit of investigation. Woo, that's a big one. Nathan Wade images. He looked like the daddy on This Christmas. Y'all know what the daddy looked like on this? Y'all remember the father? The stepfather that came in? Now, I'm not trying to be your father. Son, I'm not trying to be your father. But boy, you gonna have to get things together. The same, the black man that was chasing the guy that was chasing Nicolas Cage on Gone in 60 Seconds. That's look like his son. Y'all don't know who that is? Hold on. This Chris Brown's father. Images. What's the name of that movie this Christmas? This Christmas movie. Yeah, Delroy Lindo. That's his, they look like his son. You telling me he don't look like Delroy Lindo's son? Shout out to Delroy Lindo, a phenomenal actor. He look just like Delroy Lindo's son. And this Christmas will be a very special Christmas for me. Yeah, that's Delroy Lindo's. It looked like Delroy Lindo's son. I can't be sure, but it looked like Delroy Lindo's son.
of having an inappropriate and romantic relationship and that the two benefited from it. The suit claims Willis and Wade took lavish vacations together and that he used part of his salary from the DA's office to travel with Willis. Roman's attorney claims they discovered that the two went on trips together, quote, outside of court filings. The suit goes on to claim their relationship began before Wade was appointed to the case. They claim Willis also failed to get county approval to appoint Wade as special prosecutor in the case. Roman's attorneys are now asking the court to disqualify both of them from prosecuting the RICO case and to drop all of Roman's charges. Roman's attorneys wouldn't comment any further tonight, and Fani Willis's office told us they will be responding to Roman's suit through proper court filings.
Yo, listen, this is 100% disrespectful. And if they throw out his court filings because he's Trump's co-defendant, then you also have to it's going to probably affect the prosecution of Trump, which messes everything up. And we know they got trumped up charges on him in order to try to prevent him from becoming president of the United States, right? And so I think that this is dirty. This is absolutely dirty. And guess what it always comes back down to? That sweet, sexy, wet thing. Yeah. I told you. It's always a lack of eggplant discipline. It's always a lack of eggplant discipline that's going to mess up your pockets, mess up your position, mess up your opportunity, and it's going to also influence what you're doing on a daily basis. I'm telling you, bro, every time. If you want to see the downfall of somebody that was supposed to be absolutely, positively in a good space, all you got to do is pay attention to the woman that he was busting down at the same time. Every time. Every single time. And here's the key. It don't matter if they fat, skinny, big, tall, wide, all of that. Every time. Delroy Lindo's long lost son is out here taking family vacations while he married with a chick that he not supposed to be with that just so happened to be the Fulton County district attorney that's prosecuting everybody and also trying to prosecute Trump at the same time. And now she's being called to testify and the reporters is on her because they was out there allegedly throwing it back and making it shake. And you know they're going to find the documents. They're going to line up the receipts. They slipped up somewhere. And that's the thing about messing up is that you only got to mess up once. You only got to mess up once. They can miss you 100 times and on 101st time, they can make sure that they catch you. All you got to do is slip up once. If you going to be out here messing around, just don't become a public officer. Like, don't run for office. Don't be mayor. Don't try to become the district attorney. Don't become Dalton or Thornton Township supervisor and mayor like Tiffany Henyard. Don't go over there in New York. Don't go nowhere. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. Just stay in your little private life and get, you know what I'm saying, caught up with your little chick. But don't do it. Just don't do it, because otherwise you're going to find yourself messed up, because it only takes one mistake from one woman and then you're going to be sitting there the same way that my man was on Heat. How they started to get, you know how they got on the crew over there on Heat? It was another dude over in Las Vegas, a county over, that had decided to get involved with another man's wife. He got involved with Val Kilmer's wife and he bust her down. And then next thing you know, Al Pacino and them was over there. Y'all need to go and watch these movies that I keep naming. Go watch Heat. Watch how they got caught up in Heat. A man's wife, they was over there doing all of this, getting rich, stealing gold bars, robbing banks, and they was doing it silently and without any kind of problems. Next thing you know, two things happened. One dude ran his mouth too much inside of prison before he got out. And another dude's wife was over there busting down a man that was doing something illegal. They went and squeezed him, and the next thing you know, they was on the whole crew. And now you got Robert De Niro getting killed at the end of the movie. All because of what? Because your wife cheated and got caught in a hotel room with you, and then the other dude was talking a little bit too much in prison. Now, my favorite character in the movie is being chased down by Al Pacino, and they should have never even got heat on him in the first place. Every single time. Every single time. I'm telling you, it's always a lack of D discipline and a woman that just gotta get that D, gotta get that eggplant every single time. It never fails. Since the beginning of time. It never fails. Well, go watch Heat. It's a great movie. It's an incredible movie. It's one of the best movies that you're ever going to watch in your entire life. Go watch Heat. It is an incredible movie. Yep. And now you got them messing up the bag, and they decided to go on a vacation and throw it back, and it's going to probably cost them their careers. Let me continue to read these super chats, and then we're going to move on with the show. We got a whole show for you today. I told you it was going to be a great show today. The docs that'll be declassified in 25 years will be everything they said wasn't happening now. And guess what? The people of that time, hopefully I'm still alive at that time, and I'm still doing live streams, and I'm still entertaining y'all, and we going to look, you know what I can't wait for? I can't wait for us to be old. Let me see. In 25 years, I'm going to still be spry. At 66 years old, it's going to be me, Brittany B, true to myself. I'm going to still be going off on Gangsta Love. Connie, Trini Life, K-Love, Ed Hill. It's going to be Fi Brown, Bitcoin Brown, Rod Jones, Kahari West, Azriel. 25 years from now, we going to be sitting up. All of us is going to be rich. We going to be sitting on the beach. And then I'm going to be telling y'all, hey, y'all, I got to go do my live stream in the metaverse today. Sabrina, Trap and Slay. We going to all, 25 years from now, we all going to be old. We going to be laughing. And Gangsta Love is still going to be looking for attention. Love C, Black Beauty. We all going to be right there on the beach over in Hawaii. And I'm going to say, listen, y'all, I got to go. And I got to go do my live stream in the metaverse. Y'all coming through or what? Yeah. Mr. Youngblood, Yakar, we all going to be. Listen, I declare today, on this day, on the 11th of January, on Thursday in 2024, that y'all, me and y'all, we going to be family until we out of here. Will the CNA, Antonio Watkins, my dog Kojak. Y'all know how tall Kojak is like Victor Wembanyama. Kojak is the tallest dude. He was like the tallest guy in school. Kojak is like a good 7 feet, I bet now. Julian, talking about show that Bentley. Kojak, I done known Kojak since I was 14, 15 years old. Kojak is like Victor Wembanyama out here. He is the tallest man in the world. I guarantee you he's the tallest one in the chat. Shout out to my dog J Ben, Chris Thomas, Spaces. Spaces, I'm going to be asking him how he doing in the morning. He going to be like, I'm still trying to figure it out. Dog, we out here on the beach in Hawaii. Shout out to Jamal Williams. All right, let me read the rest of these super chats. Chosen188 says, did the newscaster just say migrant mission? Did you get what you voted for? Absolutely, they did. No, true to myself, you're not taller than him. I guarantee you're not taller than Kojak. I guarantee you're not taller than Kojak. At 6'5", Kojak is underselling how tall he is. Kojak is at least, at the minimum, he's 6'8". At the minimum, he's 6'8". Flat out. Is Big Glenn 7 feet now? Kojak? Jesus. Good God. Erica says, black women to the front. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is getting worse. Even United Airlines hiring unqualified based off of diversity, equity, and inclusion and almost calling plane crashes. Yeah, I seen that. Shout out to Erica. Right Insight says, Fani wanted the D in diversity, equity, inclusion. Kofi is in the building, says, are you telling that Bonnie and Clyde are prosecuting now? Man, they out here in these streets, bro. The CNA says that work wife husband situation is trash. Shout out to my dog, Will the CNA. Yeah. Brock says, I've said it before and I'm saying it again. I appreciate you, Time Dog. Sent an email. Hope you take it into consideration. All right, I'm going to have to check that out and see what's happening. Rita's out here in these streets shopping. The Right Insight says Nathan also expensed an 8-hour meeting to the White House before the is that indicated or indictment of Trump? Those records just leaked. Yeah, Nathan, you in trouble, bro. Yeah, Nathan. That's what you get for going ahead and busting down a Bigums. All right, let's continue over with the show. Stephen A. and Jason Whitlock. What the hell is going on with Stephen A. and Jason Whitlock, y'all? What's happening with Stephen A. and Jason Whitlock? I don't know what is happening with Stephen A. and Jason Whitlock, but I'm starting to see this junk all over my timeline. Shout out to Kwame Brown. I seen Kwame Brown was doing a reaction to it and all of that. What is up with Stephen A. and Jason Whitlock? I'm going to review it a little bit. I want to play to see what's going on before we get to the money. Because I want to review the results of what happened into this recently opened casino over in Chicago. But let me see what's happening with Stephen A. and Jason Whitlock. Because Stephen A. just did a whole live stream. Actually, you know what? I'm going to check it out a little bit right now. Then we're going to switch over to the money. Because I'm going to save this for after hours. I want to give my thoughts. I want to go through and figure out what's happening with Stephen A. and Jason Whitlock. So make sure y'all tune in to after hours tonight. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. You Whitlock on this, Fi Brown? I don't even know what's happening. It's a lot of people that's dividing themselves. All right, so let me see what's happening.
There's a few things going on in the world of sports that need to be addressed, but on this particular day, they don't take precedent. Instead, one would be Aaron Rodgers and his situation with the Pat McAfee.
I don't want to know. I don't care about that. Let me see.
Matter. He's got my support. He's got my support. The ESP case got mad love for him. Wish I could watch him on the air talking about sports, not rambling about COVID and immunization and vaccines and all of that stuff. Even though some points he was making, I heard him loud and clear, because there's a lot of people that believe, just like he believes, that our government spent a lot of time lying to us, but that's a different subject for another day. But that brother is an all-world quarterback, a future right now. Jason Whitlock.
All right, here we go.
I said that name. It's not a name I've uttered. I normally don't do that, but it's necessary to do now. I've had enough of that fat bastard. That
Hoppo. Did Stephen A. Smith just call him a... No, he didn't just say that. Whoa. What is happening? It is getting messy in the sports world. Ever since Cameron and Mace came out, what it is, everybody is starting to get a little bit spicy out here in these YouTube streets. Wait a minute. You got grown 50 and 60-year-old men calling each other names? Shame, insults, and guilt? Jesus. What is going on? What is happening? Now he didn't just say that. Okay, hold on. Let me rewind this. I got to get the full context. I wasn't expecting that. All right, Vern. I need to understand what's going on before we move this over to after hours today, because we're going to do a whole segment on this. Let me see what's going on. And if a lot of y'all don't know that, last year I actually had Jason Whitlock cam up on the show, and we had a really good conversation.
It's necessary to do now. I've had enough of that fat bastard. That piece of shit.
Hold on. Give me a second to figure this out, y'all. Hold on. What is going on? Does this not affect Stephen A's Disney content, or is he trying to really create himself to be a villain right now? No, he did not just say that to old Jason Whitlock.
Necessary to do now. I've had enough of that fat bastard. That piece of shit.
This is not the way we go into the new year.
And I want to make sure that before I go to break, I want anyone out there who watches me, anyone out there who knows me, anyone out there, no matter what you think of me, I want you to remember, I never talk about him. I never talk about my colleagues.
Y'all gonna make me keep the gray in my beard.
This is a first. But it's necessary. And when I say don't talk about them, I don't mean don't talk about them literally. I don't get in on them like I'm about to do now. I literally called my pastor and asked for his forgiveness and understanding in advance because he's not going to recognize the person he's about to hear. I did the same when I emailed the bosses at ESPN. This is my podcast. I own and operate this. I do what I want on this podcast. But it doesn't mean that I still don't harbor a responsibility to at least give my daytime employers a heads up as to what I'm about to do. My sisters, my nieces and nephews, my boys in the industry, everybody that I could reach out to in time has been warned. It's time for me to address this. I'm only going to do it once. Because this bastard is worth less than a damn cockroach.
Jesus.
He wanted my attention. He's got it. The Stephen A. Smith Show.
What is the issue, though?
Don't touch that dial. We'll deal with the fat bastard himself right now.
What is the issue?
Let's roll.
Something like that's for.
Just open it.
My new book on paperback. Right here over the digital airwaves of YouTube. By the way, that quote from Aaron Rodgers, this quote out the subject at hand. As a black man sitting in this seat, the level of vitriol that I have to absorb is something that I understand 99.99% of the time.
I'm going to revisit it tonight. I just need to get a general idea.
You're a former player and you want to crucify me, that's fine. You're somebody that was involved in some kind of public incident that I had to speak on, whether you're the wife or ex-girlfriend or some of a former player or whatever, I get it. You're a present-day athlete and you don't like my evaluation of what has transpired before our very eyes and what I'm witnessing, that's cool. But I swear to you, on everything that I love, it's not personal.
I'm gonna have to hit up. I'm gonna hit up Jason Whitlock and see what's happening out here in these streets in real life.
I'm a sports reporter and sports commentator. That is what I have been throughout my career. It is my responsibility to tell you what I see through my lens, how I feel about it, what my perspective is, etc.
Send it to me, JP. I'm gonna react to it on After Hours tonight.
With absolutely nothing to do and no obligation to touch on anything, but I feel the need to invoke and ingratiate my thoughts, opinions, etc., upon the world. I actually get paid to do this.
What does that mean?
And because of that,
so does Jason Whitlock.
Sometimes my opinions, my thoughts, my feelings, etc., are things that you would not like. But I have never lied to you. Ever.
I'm going to speed this up because it's a little
If
slow.
I wrote a story or I wrote an article, it's based on the things that I've been told, what I've seen, and what I feel. It is rare that I talk about myself on a personal level because my personal life is not anybody's business and I don't get into other people's personal life.
If he just said that he reacted to what was happening in Jason Whitlock's personal life, But then he says that I don't get into my personal life because my personal life is nobody else's business. What? And again, I'm just going based off of purely off of not being informed, because I'm going to break this down and I'm going to do a little bit of research on After Hours tonight. How can you say my personal life is my business, but everything that was going on in your personal life, I had to write a report on it? And then you say it's just business. But you're a public figure. And so if Jason Whitlock then take you to task and he say, oh, okay, well, you a public figure too, and I got a microphone now, and so now I can say whatever it is that I want to say, because apparently your car is telling me and the people in the chat is saying that Stephen A's perspective of what his life was like ain't mathing. Is that not hypocritical? Correct, Azriel. You wrote a whole book about your personal life and now you saying, but it's off limits? Shout out to the conservative chick. I'm going to read that super chat.
It's not something that I do. Many figures in the world of sports find themselves in personal situations, not lawlessness, not unlawful things or anything like that, but there's plenty of situations, Michael, Sherry, Juvie, where I've seen certain things and I turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to it because it's none of my business. And I leave it alone. And one of the other things that I never do, I never attack my colleagues. I might disagree with something somebody says or does, and I might have an obligation to speak on it because it's in the news or whatever, but I don't speak against my colleagues. Once humanity comes into play, that's a given. Here's the
I've heard him speak against Max Kellerman on other interviews about how he didn't want to work with him and stuff like that. Hold on, wait. Not you playing the hit dog holler card. I've heard him literally talk about Max Kellerman. Am I off? And Skip Bayless. And Skip Bayless is one of the people that helped put him on. All right. I'm going to just let it play for a little bit more and then we're going to move over to the next thing.
The other. That's not real work. Think about this for a second. I'm supposed to be covering sports, but I make a career out of talking about my colleagues. That ain't work. That's you finding some slick way to get a check because you can't get a job.
Oh, and he said something about Kwame. All right. Listen, we're going to break it down on After Hours with Anton Daniels. Make sure y'all subscribe to that channel. We're going to kick that tonight.
Whitlock. That's who the hell he is. Now, I have sat back for years, at least 9 to 10 years, saying absolutely nothing about this man. I never uttered the words fat bastard out of my mouth until a few months ago. So that means that the previous 9 years, you never heard me speak on him at all. But now it's necessary. Excuse me. Because you see, if you listen to the fat bastard, I didn't play high school ball, even though my coach's name was Harvey Stoller. It was Thomas A. Edison Vocational and Technical High School. I played there my senior year. I was in a basketball tournament at Fashion Institute of Technology where I dropped 27 points and got a scholarship because the coach came calling me after that and what have you. If you listen to him, I never had a scholarship to Winston-Salem State, even though it's on the books. Just call the university. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, I'm an honorary doctorate member. I have an honorary doctorate from Winston-Salem State University because of my contributions to Winston-Salem State. I'm called Dr. Smith. Has something to also do with the contributions that I make because I believe about upliftment. I'm an ambassador for HBCU Week, and I've partnered with Ashley Christopher and Mir Persicki in Delaware and others to generate over 10.
So I'm guessing based off of what y'all saying in the chat is that Jason Whitlock basically is questioning Stephen A's past and how Stephen A has responded to it. But here's my question. Why is he resulting calling him names? Why don't he just dispute what Jason Whitlock say and say, no, listen, he got it all wrong or he a liar or whatever? Why is he resulting in calling him names? Why is he resorting to calling them names? I don't understand. Somebody said the Fashion Institute of Technology. Why is he resorting to calling them names? Why don't he just address whatever it is that... See, when people automatically come in and they start calling you names, I already know what it is. But let's continue a little bit more.
10,000 scholarships, in excess of over $65 million in scholarships for African Americans. But this man will tell you I'm lying.
Puff got an honorary doctorate too, and I think DJ Envy got an honorary doctorate also, but neither here nor there.
Even went so far as to say my autobiography, where I talk about my mother, my father, my sisters, the business, my hiring and firing and rehiring at ESPN. I didn't write it. I didn't write my own memoir, which, by the way, is a New York Times bestseller, something he wouldn't know anything about.
That has nothing to do with anything.
Did you know that it's now on paperback? It just came out yesterday on paperback. Do you know that you could go to Amazon.com, straightttothebook.com, or a bookstore nearest you to get my book in paperback? Do you know that when people are normally selling 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 copies, I've sold over 400,000? Did you know? Did you know? Did you know?
What does that have to do with
But
anything?
he will tell you, I didn't write it. He's seen my writing. Really?
What does this have to do with anything?
This article is an article written on Deadspin.com. The title, How Jason Whitlock is Poisoning ESPN's Black Grant Land. Because remember, Bill Simmons, who's now at Spotify doing a great job, obviously had Grantland at ESPN, and upon his departure, Jason Whitlock was supposed to take up the mantle and create a black website for folks. This article was written by a Greg Howard, published on April 27th, 2015.
No. I get that he marketing his product, but I'm trying to understand, what did Jason Whitlock do wrong? I'm still trying to figure out what Jason Whitlock did wrong, outside of the fact that apparently they got this long-standing beef, according to what the chat is saying.
Same Jason Whitlock that said he's seen my writing. The same Jason Whitlock that implied that I couldn't write. The same Jason Whitlock that said that I'm lying. What does this man do? Why would I call up this article? There's a plethora of reasons why I would do so, ladies and gentlemen. One of the reasons would be because it's as in-depth as it gets about how scurrilous, how trifling, how despicable this man is. But there's also another reason that I'd pick up this article. Let me read the graph to you that it says. Keep in mind, Stephen A. can't write. This staff, the one Whitlock was praising by way of warnings that if the writers and editors wouldn't align with his vision, he would get rid of them, was not the one Whitlock wanted. The Undefeated, because that was the name of the title before it ultimately became Escape.
Y'all say Jason Whitlock exposed his basketball career, and he also said that he didn't write his book. Listen, I can't wait to get me a ghostwriter where I could just give him the ad libs for whatever it is in my book. When I drop my book, either I'm going to do it one or two ways. I've been trying to figure out what my book and my autobiography is going to be like. And either I'm going to have to just do it audio to where I'm speaking it and it's just automatically started writing as I'm speaking it, or I'm going to give me some help. Man, I ain't got time to be sitting here typing out no book. I don't know why that's such a bad thing. Is it a bad thing for you to not write your book, but for you to still have an autobiography? It's people that travel around and follow Elon Musk in order to write his autobiography. You still selling books? What difference do it make? Make sure Jada is not the ghostwriter. I'm still, okay. Let me just listen to a little bit more. He put his reading glasses on. He put these on right here. All right, Stephen.
The Undefeated was originally meant to attract the best and brightest young black talent in the country, with Whitlock's aim set so high that he at one point seriously tried to recruit the Atlantic's Ta-Nehisi Coates, the sharpest cultural commentator in the business today. As things worked out, though, those young writers comprehensively refused to work with him.
It is wealth-building journey.
So did big-name ESPNers like Howard Bryant, Jamel Hill, and Stephen A. Smith. I couldn't write, huh? While you were on Blaze TV, spewing that bullshit to people, did you tell them that? Did you tell them how you stood outside of First Take begging me to talk to you?
What?
Did you tell them that once this same article in Deadspin came out, weeks later you wrote a lengthy apology to me in an email, begging me to forgive you, pointing out how you were betrayed by this particular writer, so you know how I must feel that you betrayed me? Did you tell the folks that, you bitch? Did you tell them? You fat piece of shit. Did you
You know, this don't even seem, you know, when I hear Stephen A. cursing, honestly, a couple different things come to mind. Number one, the way Stephen A. curse, it's almost like it's almost like he's not supposed to be cursing and he's not used to cursing, but that he cursing in order to try to make it a seem. You know how when you talk to people and it's like, oh, you don't even really curse. But then again, you could talk to a totally different person and maybe they curse a little bit too much and they've been working their whole life on not cursing. You know what I'm saying? This kind of seemed like you ain't really want to curse, but you had to get it up out of you in order to try to make sure that you said it. It don't sound right. We'll talk about it on After Hours. I don't think there's any more to break down here. It just, all of this is calling names, all you this, you that, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We'll get to it on After Hours. Make sure y'all tune in to After Hours tonight. AL says squat 455 for 10 reps and 535 deadlift today. Shout out to the Chasers. It is fake tough, Mike Jones. It seemed fake tough. Hot Candy is in the building. Shout out to Hot Candy. Says, sending you the armor of God. Look it up if you don't know what it is. Oh, you know how I get. Breastplate of righteousness. That's what I wear. The breastplate of righteousness, Hot Candy. Hey, baby. Fa Brown says, Whitlock won. To be honest, Stephen A. didn't address any of what Whitlock actually said. Whitlock did actual journalism, actually read his book and gave a report on the facts and recorded contradictions by Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith just spewed insults for an hour. But see, now Stephen A. is actually messing up the chess game because if he hadn't never, ever addressed this, then he would, like people like me wouldn't even know about it. But then when I start seeing him say, oh man, they call Whitlock a BAN. Oh, okay. Well, now I'm going to start doing a little bit more of a deep dive to understand exactly what happened. All he did was bring visibility to something that nobody was really paying as much attention to unless you was a hardcore sports fan. Mr. Lone Star says, Stephen A. went unprofessional like he doesn't care about the bag with ESPN, and that's the dumb part. All for what? JP says, AD, we need your thoughts on that new Nas X video. I'll break it down. I'll check it out on After Hours tonight. We got a lot to go over on After Hours tonight. Sounds like we're going to be on there for a while. Prince Elian says, Stephen A. went out like a sucker. His response was weak. He didn't address anything Whit said. Stephen A. victim just hit him with ad hominem attacks. That's what it looked like so far. But I'll go and check out. I'm going to look at Jason Whitlock's, what he said too. Brittany B says, we just going to let him talk like Batman? No. JP in the building says, AD, pray before and after you watch it. It's wild. Devontae says, Whitlock read Stephen A.'s memoir and says Stephen A. Smith is capping about his basketball career. I think the big picture is Whit is more right-leaning and he thinks people like Stephen A. are Muppets for the left. I think that Stephen A. is a sucker sometimes. When he was defending Taraji P. Henson and saying that she deserved just as much money as Martin Lawrence and Will Smith in Bad Boys, when Martin Lawrence didn't even make as much money as Will Smith in Bad Boys, that was wild to me. Mike Jones in the building says, hey, Anton, you was asking, what's the issue with Whitlock and Stephen A. Smith for the past 2 months? Whitlock has been going in on Stephen A., calling him a fraud, saying his book is full of lies. Oh, shooting that ego down. Black Cartwright says, man, nobody's scared of no Stephen A. loudmouth Smith. Trying to talk tough, pure hypocrite. He needs to stay in his sports lane and shut the F up on other topics. Tech Coach Ralph says, you start name calling when it's true. Bilderberg Boy says, Jason Whitlock does have New York Times bestseller called Straight Shooter again. Stephen A. is capping like he always does. Ooh, this is getting guilt. This is getting good. Debt Free Dad says 17 threes in a row is cap. Who hit 17 threes in a row? Stephen A. Smith? I need to see that on camera. 2 old black men, both looking goofy. And they both get in the bag, too, though, on the low. Rod Jones says, can't we all just get along? Rodney King, nope. It's 2024, and I warned y'all that it was going to be worse than 2023, and we went into this crazy. All right, excuse me, I had to hiccup for some reason. Last but not least, Chicago's casino. A lot of people are not familiar with the idea that Chicago recently opened up a casino. I think it's called Bally's. Yep, Chicago recently opened up a casino. And one of the reasons why Chicago approved this casino is because they're trying to plug holes in their budget shortfall, especially when it comes to the police pension. Pay attention and take a look. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get it, y'all.
Well, the dice may be hot, but profits are not at Chicago's first casino, falling well short of expectations in Bally's first 3 months at their temporary site at the Medina Temple in River North.
CBS 2 political reporter Chris Tye digs into the numbers and what it means for the pensions these dollars are supposed to be funding.
When it opened 3 months ago, there was pomp. Today, the circumstance around Chicago's first casino isn't great financially. Illinois Gaming Board records show the casino generated $30 million in profit in its first 3 months. The city of Chicago gets $3.1 million of that, far short of the $12.8 million the city had forecasted for itself.
All right, so hold on.
$9.7 million shortfall.
All right, so let me break down these numbers a little bit to y'all because I am familiar with casinos, especially how profitable they are. I am tapped in with a lot of different people that is a part of the casino industry, and I'm tapped into a lot of political people that help approve Detroit's 3 casinos here in downtown Detroit. Now, the first thing is Chicago has a temporary, that facility, this one right here, is supposed to be a temporary facility, right? Be careful with that. And the reason that you want to be careful with that is it's the same thing that they said in Cleveland, and it's the same thing that they said over here in Detroit. The only place that actually, all of them was supposed to be in temporary facilities when they opened here in Detroit and in Cleveland. And then they were supposed to expand and then build bigger permanent locations based off of whatever it is that they bought. What they found was that they were really, really profitable, and they were trying to pivot themselves against where you came up off the freeway if you were coming into Detroit or you were somebody from the suburbs to then get your dollars, right? Motor City was right off the freeway. MGM was next, and then Greektown, you had to take a little bit of a detour as far as trying to get in there, as far as parking and everything like that. But what they wound up doing is they wound up building permanent hotels at the current temporary locations, which then made them permanent spaces, right? So this whole temporary thing, I don't know how, I don't really believe that Chicago was ever going to build a permanent facility. I think that they probably just either going to stay exactly where they are or they're going to add on, because if they're not even that profitable, because they said that they made, what, 30 million or something like that over the last 3 months, so the entire quarter, then that means that's in revenue. Let me see what they said again. Hold on.
First casino isn't great financially. Illinois Gaming Board records show the casino generated $30 million in profit in its first 3 months. The city of Chicago gets $3.1 million of that, far short of the $12.8 million the city had forecast.
Now, what I think that probably is, that's probably revenue. That's not necessarily profit. That's more revenue. Now, I will tell you that a lot of people don't know this, but Detroit is, Motor City did not change locations. Motor City Casino did not change locations. All they did was they built another hotel and they expanded at the location that they at. Actually, I just recently bought some property. Finished saying what I was basically saying. So the thing about the thing that people don't realize about Detroit casinos is also that they are the most profitable, some of the most profitable entities inside the United States of America. The profitability of these casinos in a lot of instances, in some instances, can be and is more profitable than some of the casinos over in Las Vegas. It can be and is some of the most profitable, even beating a lot of the casinos out in Las Vegas. where it says that they did $30 million in revenue over the last 3 months, on average, did you know that the average Detroit casino does about $30 million every single month? Average Detroit casino, watch this, Detroit casino average. The average casino earnings, whereas Chicago did $30 million in revenue in a month, in 3 months, and he said it. He said that they did $30 million in revenue in 3 months.
Million of that, far short of the $12.8 million the city had forecast. $1 million. Great financially. Illinois Gaming Board records show the casino generated $30 million in profit in its first 3 months.
$30 million in its first 3 months. On average, Detroit casinos, on average, each of them do about $1 million a day. A day. If you go on Google right now, and I'll just go ahead and save you the time and I'll start to do it for you. If you go on Google right now and you put in Detroit casino earnings average, and this is, remember, I was reporting that they was on strike, right? Detroit casino earnings average. Detroit casinos report $116 million in December alone. $1.23 billion for the year. Not an average of a casino. How much does Motor City Casino make a day? Motor City Casino makes $958, and they not even the #1 earning casino. MGM Grand in Detroit does. $958,000 in 1 day. How much does Detroit MGM make? On average, MGM Detroit, with the greatest impact in Detroit, makes $1.7 million a day. So when you see them giving these projections and these revenue projections, a lot of times what they do is they try to average revenue projections based off of wherever it is that they are in that, all of the other casinos that surround them and what they doing in revenue, and then they try to create these projections, when in reality, they're not generating the same amount of revenue and projections as everybody else. So when you see the Detroit casinos on average making over $30 million a month each, and the one in Chicago is only doing $30 million in 3 months, that means that they only going to do the equivalent of about 100 based off of the projections, and they getting through grand opening, so it's going to be a lot of people there and all of that. That means that they only projected to do about $120 million, which, and a lot of people will say, well, that's nothing to sneeze at. Well, when they're trying to cover Chicago pensions, right, and you only generating $3 million because they taking 10% of what it is that you generate, and they only can get $3 million, whereas the casinos over here in Detroit generate way more revenue, which is why they're one of the most profitable casinos inside of the entire country. That's the reason why. They're only doing Chicago, one casino, only doing 1/3 of the revenue of Detroit, of any of the 3 casinos in Detroit. And we got Windsor right across the street over there in Canada, and take you 45 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes to get over to Ambassador Bridge and get over there, depending on how far you're driving away from Detroit. And they generated all of their revenue based off of the first 3 months of their grand opening. But let's continue.
The city of Chicago gets $3.1 million of that, far short of the $12.8 million the city had forecasted for itself. A $9.7 million shortfall.
Some Trinity Life, I think the best casinos that make the most money are in Louisiana. I didn't even know that Louisiana had casinos. I know that they got, because everybody that's over in New Orleans, they drive over to Biloxi. Biloxi is the one that got all of the casinos, not Louisiana. Biloxi, I thought that had all the casinos. I didn't even know Louisiana had casinos. Maybe they do. But no, the highest generating revenue casinos inside of the United States, some of the highest generating, I know for a fact, is the Detroit casinos.
Fall in dollars earmarked to pay Chicago's police and fire pensions.
It takes time. It takes time to get legs. It takes time to figure out how this works.
John Bosca was on Mayor Lightfoot's Casino Advisory Council.
When those projections came out, that also included that they would get open much earlier
Oh,
than what
Shreveport. Okay, I got you. I'm thinking of New Orleans.
they did. So that would be the summer. That would be,
which they didn't get in.
Which they didn't get in.
I'm actually not surprised. I think the numbers perhaps were a bit overly optimistic to start.
The bullish forecasting out of the casino's temporary site here at River North's Medina Temple came as a surprise to both of the independent experts we spoke with Wednesday.
The city's budgeting for the casino has always been overly, wildly optimistic. Lori Lightfoot's $200 million per year sort of projections are just, I don't know where that came from.
What David Greising of the Better Government Association does know, if the casino numbers continue to underperform, it could jeopardize Mayor Johnson's promise to fund pensions beyond what's legally required.
If indeed this gambling money falls far short, he's got to find that additional revenue or walk away from that commitment.
There is a possibility that the temporary casino might ultimately become the permanent casino, but it's a little bit too early to tell at this point.
Bally's Casino declined our request for an interview, but did point out that in the last quarter of last year, they did build sales each month, peaking in December, and they underscored they will begin construction on that new $2 billion facility here in River West later this year. Chris Ty, CBS 2 News.
So they basically not able to generate the revenue that they think that they was going to generate. And they based their projections and they thought that they was going to have their budgets filled up and their pensions for their police department to be able to be taken care of as a result of it. And that's not true. It's not true. And so now they depending on the constituents of Chicago. And the worst part about the Chicago casino is that they got so much competition. They got a casino up in Milwaukee that I've been to that's actually really, really good. They got the Indiana casino that the people that travel from out of town would have to pass over in order to get over to Chicago. In that temporary location, nobody is going to visit Chicago in order to go to a casino, which means that all of the money that's generated from it is going to be taken from it. It's going to be taken from the people within the city of Chicago that's already being taxed to death. Nobody is going to travel to Chicago as a tourist in order to go to the casino. The majority of the revenue that then comes from it is going to come from the people that live in Chicago, which means that it's going to actually ruin the fabric of what it is that's happening inside of the city. So, listen, casinos is not always what they made out to be. It's not going to plug budget shortfalls. And as long as they continue to have a lull in the amount of profits that they're able to generate, I also don't see them building a permanent casino, but I could be off on that. Anyways, I love you guys. I appreciate you. Let me read one more super chat before we get up out of here because everything messed up with my stuff freezing up again. Get robbed inside and outside, no dice. Shout out to Will CNA. I appreciate you, my dog. Listen, I love you guys. I appreciate you. Make sure y'all tune in to After Hours. I love you. You guys are the best and the greatest audience on earth. Thank you for continuing to rock out with me. I need y'all to do me one more favor before we get up out of here, though. All right? Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful by ourselves. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for continuing to rock with me. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.